Okay, the building which is now Wardown Park Museum was originally a farmhouse called Brammingham Shot. It was in 1868 that a gentleman called Frank Scargill purchased the estate, which included the farmhouse and the surrounding park. He then demolished the farmhouse and built the present building.
Have you ever been to this museum before?
No, I haven't. It's the first time.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it's good so far. I've only been to the bottom floor, so we'll see when we get up top.
Do you find the stuff that you've read interesting?
Yeah, it's interesting, I guess, because I am not from here, so it's interesting to see what it's all about.
How did you know about the place?
I just live up the road, so I've walked past it and ran around here a few times. So.
Frank Scargill actually left Luton in 1893 and he rented out the building to a gentleman called B.H. Forder. It was actually Forder who renamed the building Wardown. I think this related to his original home in Hampshire. He lived here for a few years. Eventually the whole building and the estate was put up for sale. This was in about 1903. It was purchased by two local businessmen, one of whom was Asher Hucklesby, and this was purchased on behalf of Luton Borough Council.
Have you been to the museum before?
Oh yes, regularly. Yeah, I was born in Luton, so I've been coming over 40 years.
Do you enjoy coming?
Oh yeah. Different exhibitions all the time, and especially in the school holidays.
The park proved to be very popular with the public, but the council found themselves with a bit of a problem because they couldn't think of a permanent use for the house itself.
Have you been to the museum before?
I've been coming to this museum since I was 14, and my school teacher brought me here when I was a young lad, and I brought my children, and I'm now bringing my grandchildren.
So you like coming then?
Oh yeah, lovely.
Do you
really.
like the stuff that's in the museum?
Oh, brilliant, yes, all sorts of things, and we know it off by heart because I bring the grandchildren every time there's a holiday because they always do the quiz. So they always come in to do it.
Does the stuff change every time?
Well, it's basically, it's a lot of it is the same, but it's always of interest. You always see things that you hadn't seen before, and they add exhibitions and such like. So yes, there's always something there of interest.
During First World War, the house was used as a hospital. But after the war, it essentially remained vacant, although some bits were rented out to various people. The solution for the council's problem came a little bit later when Luton Museum was opened initially as a single room in the Carnegie Library in the town centre. The museum very quickly outgrew the premises there, and there was a lot of pressure from various business people for Wardown House to be brought into use as a museum.
Have you been to the museum before?
Yes, a long time ago.
What is it different?
It is different from what I remember, yeah.
How is it different?
You got all different aspects of more or less modern life, you know, the last 100 years. Whereas before there was more archaeological that I can remember, as well as you've got World War One, World War Two, and that hearts and beds regiments. I've never seen that here before.
In 1936, an education service was established, and to this day this still forms a thriving part of the business carried out from Wardown. Wardown is entering into its next fairly exciting phase, where there's plans to refurbish it back to how it was in Victorian times, and will reopen eventually as a new museum with many new concepts about how to run and what can be made available in a museum.